Hello guys, this is Danny with ParTay again. So I just switched out screens and now I'm going to do one on the DayStar. And I want to show you the DayStar is a light, or I say a light, it's what I would consider a mid-gray. It's not a dark gray, just really more of a mid-gray screen. You can try to get in there so you can see. It's not a very dark screen at all. And I took the lux reading right before starting this, and it was 162. So I told you it's vacillating back and forth as clouds kind of mix, and it's about the same brightness now. So I'm going to assume we're in the 150 to 160 range, and I just wanted to give you an example. And this is a light gray screen, or I say light. It's really more of a mid-gray, to be honest. It's a mid-gray screen. And you can see even at 150 to 160 lux, this is holding up very well. And this is as bright as really any home that we have ever done projection screens in. This is brighter than where they would typically have their screens. The only time that I've seen homes that would really go way past this is whenever you have a room that's similar to this and it's high daylight. You can get up into the 240 or so range. And I say that because, like you think of lake houses where you have just sort of a wall of windows. If those weren't controlled at all, if you didn't have any treatments on the windows whatsoever, you could probably get much higher. You may even, according to how close the screen is, let's just say it was on a wall like this area here could go as high as 12 to 1400 lux or more. Whereas when you get over in here, you're going to be more at the high points. You're going to be more into the 5, 4, and 300 lux on this side of the screen, right? So this side of the screen would definitely take the brunt. But if you were to put just a sheer or something up over this window, it would help dissipate some of that. So there is some, measure of control that you can do. But if you're further away from that source of light, okay, if you're further away from that, then the lux is not going to be as bright as it's going to be on, say, an area like this. But you can see that even as a mid-gray screen, now it's not, the contrast has been impacted, yes. But that's going to happen. Even on the ALR screens that you buy out there, any front-facing light is going to impact your contrast because I've seen the surface of those screens. They're meant to block side light coming in from the side angles, light coming from the top and from the floor, but they can't differentiate between projector light, especially on long throw and short throw type ALR screens. They can't differentiate between the projector light and the ambient light that's coming in front facing. And these companies will tell you that on their promotional material, as well as they'll generally tell you the amount or percentage of ambient light that their screens will reject, and that may range anywhere from 65 to 95%. But you can see that the images here are still very nice for this kind of highlight environment. And that's with 2,500 lumens. It's not a 4,000 or 5,000 lumen projector. It's 2,500 lumens, roughly about 1,250 to 1,300 ANSI that's actually hitting the screen. So, you're not talking about high lumens here. And still you're able to get a nice projected image in daylight. Now, then outside, we're a long way off from that. It can be done if you can get projectors that'll push out about 100,000 lumens plus. It can be done in certain environments, but for a home environment, and this is essentially what I've heard people say for years. They can't use a white screen because it washes out the image so much that you can't even half make it out. So they've tried paints. Paints help, but the reality is that most of the time paint is all surface. It's you can't really push other than adding a ton of metallic or mica or something like that in it. And when you do that, you run the risk sometimes of color shift according to how much of that additive content's in the screen. Being able to do multi layers and to allow light to pass through and back out is really key. Now, for the ultra short throws, it's very different. Ultra short throws is pretty much all going to be about your surface layer. There's a small percentage, maybe 12 to, and I'm just estimating here, 12 to say 15% additional reflectivity you can gain through reflective additive, and a small bit of transparency. Once you get to a certain point of transparency on ultra short throws, you start losing rather than gaining. And it gives almost a sort of an opaque film or semi-transparent film, almost like a creamy wash across the surface. It's almost like you've got glaucoma and trying to watch the screen. So it's for ultra short throws, the biggest portion of what you're going to gain is going to be off the surface. But just wanted to do a quick one. Now, this is with the DayStar, so this is not the Sirius. Once again, this is a mid-grade DayStar screen. My personal favorite. I think it holds up very well. I mean, you look at how it's holding up in this room. In the living room where we have at the high points in the afternoon when the sun's going down, it can get above 90 lux on the screen. In sections where the sun would hit it, the sun usually hits it from this point over, and then at that midday time, there's almost like a 2-foot sliver that just comes down and washes across the screen, right? Or actually, it kind of washes up as the sun's setting. It just kind of keeps going up and up and up the screen. But this screen still holds up very well in that situation. It was actually designed just for that initially, and then we expanded upon it as we changed our product types. But this gives you an example of how DayStar performs, and you also saw how the Sirius performs in highlight. So hopefully this answers some questions for you guys. If you have any questions that you need or any additional detail around any of the specs I've given, I'm more than happy to answer those questions for you. So you guys take care. Thank you.